I'm Rebecca of Sattva Yoga and Wellness, and this is the cutest dog on the planet, Albus, as in Dumbledore. And we are going to lead you through a 60-minute restorative yoga practice. If you've never done restorative yoga before, then here's the deal. Restorative yoga is the practice of learning to relax without stimulation. We stay awake, but we don't have anything stimulating us in the moment. No phone, no TV, and we try to be. This might sound infuriating to you. That means you really need restorative yoga. If you're really type A, if you are someone who can't sit still very well, then restorative yoga is a really helpful way to get you to calm down. More importantly, that helps bring your cortisol levels down and helps prevent against or potentially heal inflammation, chronic problems, and potentially helps you enjoy life a little bit better if you can slow down. So you're going to need a few things. If you don't have any yoga props, that's fine. I'm going to show you the ones that I'll be using and what you can use instead if you don't own these. So the first thing is 2 yoga blocks. If you expect to do yoga a fair amount, I would suggest just buying the blocks for your home practice. But if you don't own them, don't care to own them, you can use a couple of thick books. Also, we'll be using today a blanket. I've got a thick Mexican blanket, which is pretty standard in yoga. But you can use any thick blanket that you have. And then finally, I have a bolster. And a bolster, if you've never used one, is like a hard pillow. So if you don't own a bolster, I would recommend getting a very firm pillow or even a couch cushion. So if you need to pause this and go get those things, go ahead. I also have a mat. You do not have to have a mat. Regardless of whether you do or not, I recommend doing the practice on the ground because we want the earth supporting us. We want to be able to feel that. If you can't get down on the ground for whatever reason, then a couch is fine, a bed is fine, but it's not preferred if you have the mobility to get down. So restorative yoga is a lot of laying around, literally. And if you feel your chest tighten at that thought, then what I'd recommend is hanging out for the grounding practice, the breath practice that we're going to do. It's only a couple of minutes long. And then maybe trying out the first pose and coming back another time for the second pose and so on. The whole thing's an hour. We only do 4 poses the whole time. So that can give you an idea of how long we're going to be still in each one. As you can see, Albus is a champ at this, but it can be a little harder for people with, to-do lists and things. So if you're curious to give it a try a little bit at a time instead of the full hour. In addition to your props, you might want to think about finding a room that's pretty quiet. I know reality exists and there are probably people other than you living in your house, but if you have a place that's more quiet than others, choose that. And if you can, dim the lights or turn them off completely as long as you don't think you'll fall asleep. If you do fall asleep at some point during this practice, that's fine, but it's definitely not preferred. So we want to try to stay awake. A little bit of light can be helpful for that. Bringing animals like I did can be a really good way to help you relax and feel protected while you're doing that. But if they're animals that are being hyper right now, they've got their zoomies, that's not the best time to bring them in. This one never moves, so she's perfect for restorative yoga. We're going to push ourselves back before we deal with any of this onto either a wall, a couch, anything that can support your back, and come into a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. For me today, that's my legs crossed. We're going to take one hand to our heart and the other to our abdomen. Relax your shoulders into the wall or item that's supporting you. You can begin to close your eyes if that feels okay. We're going to take some deep breaths in a moment. Begin to notice your breath. You don't need to change anything. I just want you to pay attention to what your heart, your lungs do for you without you having to notice most of the time. With your top hand, notice how the chest inflates as you inhale and deflates as you exhale. As the air enters the lungs and helps them grow, and as it exits, I don't know what that meant. With your bottom hand, notice how the same is true for your belly as it grows larger with an inhale and smaller with every exhale. Let your hands fall to your lap and open your eyes. Okay, we'll start with our first position. Take your blanket, fold it up so it's thick, and place it at the top of your mat. You're going to grab your blocks and bring them one on each side. Spin so you're facing the bottom of your mat. Taking our blocks with us, we're going to slowly roll all the way down. Bring your feet in towards your glutes, and then begin to open your knees wide, bringing the soles of the feet together. Take your blocks at any height to place them underneath your knees. Okay. You want to feel supported by these blocks as opposed to feeling an intense stretch in your hips or anywhere else. So I need them on their lowest setting for today. My hips are open today. But whatever height you need is perfect. We'll relax our arms by our sides, pull the shoulder blades a little bit closer, and then relax back down. Your arms can be by your sides, palms face up. Relax your shoulders. And if you feel okay doing so, close your eyes. We'll try to keep them closed through the entire pose, though FYI, I'll be occasionally looking at my timer to make sure we're on track. Begin to notice your breath again. Reach the tailbone towards the feet to stretch out a bit longer. And feel yourself sink into the mat. Notice the ease of the pose. You should be doing no work. And while we're trying to find stillness, it's okay if you need to shift occasionally, if something becomes uncomfortable, or you thought you were set up to relax and you realize something doesn't work quite right. But do take right now to try to get 10% more comfortable than you are. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And open the mouth, sigh it out. be here for 10 minutes. Try to keep your focus on your breath. Begin to flutter your eyes open. Orient yourself for a moment before we move. Then take your hands to the outside of your legs. Begin to push them together. We'll move the blocks out of the way and roll up to grab our bolster. We're going to keep the blanket exactly where it is and bring the bolster lengthwise. You don't need to move. You're fine. You're just fine where you are. Okay? And then we're going to sit on it. Some or all of you will hang off. Grab the back of your thighs, slowly roll down. Your entire body is not meant to be on the bolster. Your shoulders, excuse me, thank you. Your shoulders and head will come off. And again, they can come onto the blanket or directly onto the mat/ground. Arms come by your side, again the palms facing up, or they can come to the outside of whatever you're laying on, wide in a cactus, or if you really want to stretch, take them completely overhead. I'm going to keep mine down here. Your legs, you have several options. You can extend both if that feels okay in your low back. If it feels like you're still kind of working to keep yourself up, then keep your knees bent, turn the toes in, and let the knees knock together for constructive rest. Walking your feet out as much as you need to let your knees hold each other up. Once again, we'll close our eyes. Begin to notice your spine. Does it feel supported by the bolster? If this is a little too much for you, you can always replace the bolster with a block. The most important part is that your head is below the rest of your body. Right, we're hiking the hips up here. So if you do replace it with a block, put the block underneath your hips. Relax your shoulders down. Maybe reach the crown of the head towards the wall behind you just a bit. And then see if you can make yourself even a little bit more comfortable. Notice the ease of your breath. We'll be in this second pose for 10 minutes. We'll open the eyes, give ourselves a breath or two before we get moving. Slowly roll to one side, off the bolster. We'll slowly, carefully push ourselves up, leaving everything where it is. We're simply going to turn over to our other side. And straddle the bolster. So for this move, we're going to extend our legs, put our pelvis on the bolster, and bring our arms and our head to the blanket or directly to the mat, whichever you would prefer. I'm going to go to the mat because my blanket's a little too thick. Again, you want your head lower than the rest of your body. You might need to scoot forward to make that happen. If your hips are hanging off the sides, that's completely normal. Legs are extended back however they feel comfortable. You might take your forehead down or a cheek. If you do use a cheek, I'll let you know when we're halfway through the pose so you can switch sides. And I'm going to continue to cue you while I'm sitting up like this, but you can go ahead and rest your head down. Relax onto the bolster. Release any tension in the legs. Notice how your breath might feel different now that we're laying face down. Feel your ribs, your pelvis against the bolster, and melt into it. Shoulders are away from the ears. Feel the fall and rise of your back with every breath. We'll be in this position for 12 minutes.
If you've been laying on one side of your face, we're halfway through, so I'll have you pick up your head and switch to the other side. Open your eyes and take a moment here. Press your head up. Take your hands underneath your shoulders and push up off the bolster. We'll send it to the side for a moment. And then turn ourselves back around. The bolster is going to come underneath our knees this time for a supported corpse pose, which is our final resting pose. The blanket can still act as your pillow, or maybe you take it like I'm going to, unfold it, and rest it over you as long as you don't think that's going to put you to sleep. I'm just a little bit cold. We'll roll ourselves all the way down. And relax your head, either directly on the ground or on that blanket. Generally, for Shavasana, hands come by the sides, palms face up, and eyes closed. If you prefer a different position, you're welcome to take that now. Wherever you end up, notice where the mat or the ground connects with your body. Return to your breath. Remove your tongue from the top of your mouth. Relax your jaw, your eyes. We lay in Shavasana to allow our minds and bodies to integrate the work that we've done. We'll be here for 15 minutes. Enjoy your rest.
Begin to bring your awareness back to this space. Maybe find some gentle movement in your hands or your feet. Maybe you reach your arms overhead for a good morning stretch, reaching from the fingers, the toes, stretching every muscle you have. And when you're ready, we'll roll over to your favorite side. You can send the bolster away. Use your top hand to help you press up into a comfortable seat. Find a wall, a couch, whatever you leaned on in the beginning. And let it support you one more time. We'll take one hand to our heart and the other to our abdomen. You can keep your eyes open or flutter them closed. We'll finish with 3 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Last one, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Return to your normal breath. You can open your eyes if they're closed. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Have a great one.